a KQED television production.
It's like holy mother of comfort food.
Throw it down, it's noodle crack.
You have to be ready for the heart attack on a platter.
Okay, I'm the bacon guy right now.
Oh, it just did a jig every time I dipped into it. It just completely blew my mind.
I felt like I had a mouthful of raw vegetables and dry dough.
Oh, yes. Please, I want the dessert first.
Yes.
Told me you had to wait.
Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by IRG has thousands of natural stone surfaces, all in stock today. IRG, online at marblecompany.com. Bay Area Subaru dealers. Opportunities to test drive the 2014 Subaru XV Crosstrek Hybrid are available at local Subaru dealers. Subaru online at Subaru.com. Located at the southern gateway to Napa, Jameson Ranch Vineyards offers handcrafted wines, chef's food pairings, and weekly live music. JamesonRanch.com. Oakland International Airport, offering new flights to Europe, Hawaii, and all across the USA. Oakland International. Park close. Fly on time. With whole toasted sesame seeds, garlic, ginger, and other natural ingredients, soy vey sauces and marinades bring a taste of Asia to your favorite dishes. Support KQED's vehicle donation program and donate a car to help raise funds for quality public media. Powered by Cars.
Hi, I'm Leslie Perbacco. Welcome to Check Please Bay Area, the show where regular Bay Area residents review and talk about their favorite restaurants. Now we have 3 guests and each one recommends one of their favorite spots and the other 2 go check them out to see what they think. This week, office manager, mom, diva, and Yaya sister Roshan Brooks works, teaches music, and has an event business. She volunteers, sings, and crafts as well. Oh, her energy and zest for life keeps her going and going and going. And photographer Paolo Salcido has a philanthropic spirit, seeking out eateries that satisfy his heart as well as his appetite. Beauty is in his nature, his portraiture, and his love of community and food. But first, entrepreneur Scott Roderick lives and breathes dining destinations. His standards and expectations are high when visiting an eatery. He's always up for exploring the best in local cuisine, especially when it can stand in for a quick trip to modern Milan. He finds everything on California Street in San Francisco at a place called Perbacco.
At Perbacco, we celebrate the northwestern area of Italy. We cook with an Italian heart and we use local ingredients. I'm Stefan Terrier and I'm chef and owner here at Perbacco Restaurant in San Francisco.
In a restaurant, the experience is a package with food, ambiance, and service. Our job is to make sure that these 3 components are together, and we believe that at Perbacco we do a very good job. I'm Umberto Giubin, I'm a co-owner of the restaurant. Perbacco offers the cuisine of Piemonte. Therefore, our wine list, it is more focused on the Piemonte wines, Barolos, Barbarescos, Nebbiolos. Our wine director, Lorraine, she's really good at finding the small little gems.
We have quite a large kitchen staff here. A lot of the cooks have been with me for a very long time, and that's why everything comes together so well.
4 years ago, we had the opportunity of taking over the space next door, and we decided to open Perbacco, a more casual restaurant, a little less expensive, but yet with equally good food. We create memories for our guests. We show you the hospitality, and you're enjoying the food and the wine, and when you go out, the memory will stay with you.
All right, Scott, let's talk about Perbacco. I mean, this is one of San Francisco's classics.
Perbacco, to me, is probably the finest Italian restaurant that you could find outside of Italy. It is an extraordinary place that I discovered several years ago. It is my top restaurant selection in San Francisco. You walk into the front doors and you see this beautiful grand European bar to the left and exposed brick and red leather banquettes. It really is a bustling financial district kind of place. But at nighttime, people from all over the Bay come in for this very, very special treat, which is based on Piemonte-style Northern Italian dining. I always order the pappardelle pasta, which is hand cut in the restaurant with short rib ragu with a little shred of horseradish over the top, and it is by far the finest pasta that I've ever had.
You're making me
in
hungry.
Italy or outside of Italy. I mean, they slow roast it, must
That's
be
right.
for days, and
Yeah.
it is absolutely, melt on the mouth. The horseradish really kicks off the flavors of that dish, and I love that dish so much that even I may not be in a pasta mood, I'll order it between an appetizer and an entree as an intermezzo, as a share with
That's
2 or
my
3
kind of
people.
guy. That's an intermezzo. All right, Paolo.
I really enjoyed it. They had a variety on the menu that you don't come across too often, and I really liked the pork shoulder that they served. It had flavors, that didn't compete with the pork shoulder itself. The cabbage that they put on there was just the right amount of sauce, and I had the pear salad there. And I had gone there for lunch also because I wanted to come back and see what the crowds were like for both lunch and dinner. Really good choices of what the chef did.
Roshan, you got to get in here and talk to us
I did
about
enjoy
this.
it. It was very conveniently located from the freeway. We came from the East Bay, so parking was wonderful. The ambiance was really nice. We started off with the shrimp and fennel deep fried in a buttermilk batter. Very, very good. I loved it with olives and very hearty, very filling. And then we continued with the soup, a puree wild mushroom. Very, very good. My husband and I shared it. Then I got the scallops, nice and juicy, very good, seasoned to perfection. They were served with wild mushrooms and potatoes, small, but a very small portion. While the presentation was beautiful, there was only 3 scallops, so I hadn't eaten all day.
That was not an appetizer size.
That was
an entree
actually
size.
entree. At the end, I found myself having to fill up on bread, which was delicious. Some sweet breadsticks served with some type of sauce.
Yeah, the breadsticks are
with
known for
salsa
those.
verde.
Little tapenade.
Very
on the side.
good.
You needed a little
very
salumi platter
delicious.
to begin with.
Maybe it was just my dish. The quail, my husband said it was delicious. His was actually a larger portion, so he was actually okay with it. He said it was very flavorful. It was served with wild mushrooms, seasoned to perfection. So we had no problem with the seasonings and the spices, and they're very, very flavorful. Had no problem with that, and he really enjoyed it.
Well, what I'm gratified to hear is that you love the flavor.
Oh, I did. Oh, it was delicious. Oh,
And I think for me, in that environment, I think the meal is always filling, especially because I'm more of a small plate person. I like to share a lot of dishes. You mentioned the salume plate.
Yeah.
I start off almost every lunch there with a salume mixte plate, which is a beautiful combination of things that they do in-house. They house cure their meats, their sausages, and that is really a wonderful way to amuse the mouth and amuse-bouche, if you will, before this Italian feast. Every time I go, I promise myself to order different things. I mean, it's a very extensive menu, and when you ask the servers at Perbacco about a specific dish, whether it's one of the meats on the salume platter or the style of cooking that Stefan in the kitchen does, they are very enthusiastic about getting you interested in things that you may not otherwise try. Their sommelier team is fantastic, and I never go in with a point of view on the wine I want to drink. I always ask one of the Italian sommeliers, who are incredibly well trained, to recommend to me something that's off the beaten path, hopefully Italian, but doesn't have to be.
The servers were very good, very professional,
They were.
but a little stiff. And I noticed there was a little bit of stuffiness, and I got my waiter to loosen up just by having a conversation with her.
We had a problem with the noise level. We could hear everyone's conversation, and there was a large party in front of us, and we couldn't hear our self-talk from the noise level.
And desserts? Nobody had desserts?
I did have their dessert.
Okay.
I had the
You look like a dessert guy. Come on,
I am
Paolo,
a
don't
dessert guy. I wanted to put that one first. It was the hazelnut cake. Really good, very tasty. I wanted more sauce with it because the cake itself is a little bit dry, but it was fantastic.
Because of the show, I had to force myself to order dessert. So I had the fall turnover that the pastry chef made to perfection. It came with a beautiful raspberry jam and the burnt caramel gelato, which
And all their gelato is
all made in-house.
Made in-house.
And it came with a little Tahitian vanilla sea salt sprinkled lightly on the top, and with a beautiful biscotti on the side. It was an absolutely fantastic way to finish. Unfortunately, now I'm kind of addicted to now ordering dessert at Perbacco.
So you have to save room a little bit.
Exactly.
You got the menu choice now.
I do, and I'll have
All right,
to try
Scott,
that.
this is your spot. Wrap it up for us.
Well, Perbacco, classic Italian cuisine, fresh out of Milan. Best in San Francisco, maybe in the U.S.
All right, and Paolo.
Contemporary atmosphere, I enjoyed it, and the food was delicious, very flavorful, and I like service with a smile.
Okay, and Roshan?
I would definitely go back again, and I will definitely try the recommendations that you've told me about.
All right, if you would like to try Perbacco, it's on California at Battery in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-955-0663. It's open for lunch and dinner Monday through Friday, dinner only on Saturday. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab for dinner without drinks is around $50. It's easy to miss Roshan's spot featuring global tapas owned by two Venezuelan brothers in Union City. You'll find it hidden in a shopping mall. It's called Federicos Tapas and Wine Bar.
Federicos Tapas is a restaurant when you come in and enjoying the diversity of the tapas that we have and the diversity of the wine that we have. So my name is Federico Rodriguez. Everybody in my family and friends call me Kiko. I am the co-owner and sommelier from Federicos Tapas and Wine Bar.
So I'm Rico from Federicos. I'm the executive chef from Federicos Tapas and Wine Bar.
We use traditional recipes. We create our own recipes. We mix recipes, the Italian, French,
Caribbean, California, a little bit everything.
We make every single one from scratch. We use fresh product, and that's our key. And we pair with the wine from sweet to dry, the origin to origin, the country to country. Sangria is our favorite drink in the house, and it's our secret recipe. The more important thing for us is the smile of our customer in the end.
It's all about Kiko and Rico from Federico. We are the best in town.
Okay, Roshan, when I say Federicos, I'm saying that plural because both brothers are named Federico.
Yes. Yes.
One is actually Rico and one is Kiko, right?
Exactly, exactly. And I've been going there for quite some time now, and I love every single thing on the menu. The two owners, Nico and Kiko, are amazing. They greet you with a smile, friendly. You walk in, sometimes they'll grab you and tango dance with you. I mean, they are just awesome, like you've known them for years. And one of my favorite all-time dishes is their sea bass. It is mouth-watering. It's fried in a buttermilk batter, tender morsels, small pieces of sea bass. Oh, it's just
Ooh,
amazing.
You need a glass of wine. You need a sip after that.
I really do. And then I also love the chicken mole tacos, tender. They're small tortillas with a small piece of chicken topped with avocado and mango.
Now tell me, you had those as well, right?
I thought that they were the highlight of our dinner. There were most of the dishes were okay, but the real standout were the chicken mole tacos. I think that the chef, and I'm not sure which of the brothers was behind the line, although one of them clearly was, they are really good at sauces. And so the dishes that have sauces, like we did, they have a handmade ravioli pesto sauce, which I thought was to die for. The pasta was great, but the sauce, again, was great. So there were some misses on the menu. It's a pretty wide menu, and I think the week we got there, they were adding steak to the menu.
Yes, they just added that.
But the dishes we had that came with sauces, like the chicken mole, I thought was probably some of the best mole sauce I've had in an international tapas bar, let alone a neighborhood Mexican restaurant. I mean, it was really just wonderful.
The size of the tacos was just perfect. Yeah, it was just perfect. You get two of them, you know, for the price. It's a great price.
Can't beat it.
And then I'm not a fish lover per se, but I do eat it and I try it. And in this particular case, they had these sort of tempura fried fish tacos.
Oh.
Excellent. At the cabbage, a little bit of lime. It reminded me of the streets of Mexico down in Mexico City. Anywhere that you get them off of a vendor, they did a really good job with it. Kiko was actually my server. Friendly face. I asked him recommendation for a drink. He said, try the sangrias, and I tried the sangria, white wine sangria with plenty of fruit down in the bottom of it.
They're known for that.
Yeah, cucumber, apple. Very tasty. It wasn't overly sweet or anything. It was just the right mix for it. So thumbs up on that.
The crab stuffed pasta with the lobster sauce. Did either of you try that? Oh, that's delicious. That's one of my all-time favorites as well. And I love their tiramisu. It's light, fluffy. You know, it's not normally. Sometimes tiramisu can be kind of soggy, but this is perfected perfect.
I had their bruschetta, and it was really delicious. It was done well. The shrimp was cooked perfectly. It had a little bit of fresco cheese on it. Great.
We also had the hummus plate. The hummus was a little oily, it wasn't really flavorful, and the grilled flatbread was a little bit overgrilled, a little bit hard. You know, part of the problem is I think we went on a Sunday night, there were 7 or 8 tables, so the restaurant was fairly busy, and there was only the chef behind the line and one server. So it may have been a function of my first visit there on a Sunday night and them not, you know, firing it on all cylinders. But at least when you're in that restaurant and you get a feeling like the sauces are on it, and you were mentioning the sangria, I thought was just absolutely fantastic. I'm normally not a sangria drinker, but I had done it.
Because sometimes it can be sweet, sometimes it can be strong, sometimes it can be, and this is a wine bar, right?
So we ordered a carafe of both because we had to.
Of course.
And
Research.
And it was actually quite delicious. Even on a very cold Sunday night, it was delicious, and it really made the flavors in the various small plates pop. And the other thing I thought was really special about the little cafe, again, I don't think it's a destination restaurant, but if you're in the area and you're hungry for something off the beaten path with food that's made with love, and servers that are into the brand.
So you're not spending, if you have a miss, you're not spending
super affordable. I couldn't believe when I got the bill for the amount of food we ordered and the quality of the sangria. I was very surprised how inexpensive the food was.
You know what I enjoyed was the artwork that was up on the walls. Sheet metal artwork that they had of the dancers, the tango
done by the
dancers.
brother.
Beautiful.
Yes,
it's a very eclectic dining room, but you can tell there's a little love in there. You know, I mean, you can tell it's a neighborhood cafe run by 2 people that are passionate about food.
Yes, they are.
Well, and these guys came to the U.S. to do that. They really did.
I saw on the menu that said there was a Venezuelan-style Sunday brunch that seemed to be pretty popular. Have you gone to that at all?
I've gone to all of them.
So
and
what
yes,
is that like?
It's actually, they have a buffet style, all you can eat, and it's so much food that you won't believe it. For the price, you cannot beat it.
All right, this is your spot. Wrap it up for us, Roshan.
This is the place to be if you're ever in Union City. Everything is perfect there, everything.
All right, Paolo?
You know what? I enjoyed it. It had, again, another restaurant with a variety of choices. I would definitely have their sangria. The mole tacos were fantastic.
Okay, and Scott?
Cute neighborhood spot, fantastic pricing, hit or miss on some dishes, but a lot of passion in the dishes.
All right, if you would like to try Federicos Tapas and Wine Bar, it's in the Union Landing Shopping Center on Courthouse Drive in Union City. The telephone number is 510-441-0900. It's open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab for dinner without drinks is around $30. From the martini to the martinez, the vesper to the Negroni, gin is the core of many classic cocktails. What was once used for medicinal purposes centuries ago now ranks as one of the most popular drinks in history. First created in Holland in the 16th century, this distilled spirit's primary flavor comes from juniper berries, though other botanicals from coriander to lemon, orange peel to honey, and even cucumbers, as in Hendrick's, can create unique flavors and aromas. Not sure what you like? There are a variety of styles to choose from. The classic London dry gin is just that, dry and crisp, while Plymouth is a bit more aromatic and fruit-driven, and Old Tom gin is bolder still, with some even barrel-aged. There are top gins distilled here in the Bay Area, too, like one of my faves, number 209. What do I drink? A G&T, of course. Just make sure you use high-quality tonic to create a delicious drink of distinction. At Paolo's Pick, you'll find a diverse group of young men and women bringing energy, commitment, and their family recipes to a unique San Francisco dining experience. Live entertainment rounds out the special evening at the 1940s-style supper club called Old Skool Cafe.
As a correction officer in Southern California, it was hearing the stories of these young men that didn't have any hope to live past 18, that just didn't see any way out of the crime and incarceration. That's what inspired me to start Old Skool. Hi, my name is Teresa Goins, and I'm the founder and CEO of Old Skool Cafe. The vision was always that this wouldn't just be a place to come eat for a good cause, but the food would be amazing, as well as the ambiance and the entertainment and the service. I think they really knock it out of the park. Chef Kevin is just a light here. Besides being a great chef, he is a phenomenal role model and mentor, especially to our young men. Tammy and Jordan are two perfect examples of youth that have come through the ranks. Tammy does all the training and mentoring in front of the house. Chef Jordan runs the back of the house. The entertainment is all youth entertainment, and they get paid plus tips, and I really get a chance to develop professionally as an entertainer. Every cent that you spend here as a diner goes right back into the program. There are many ways that you can get involved to help us, by donating, by booking private events here, and by becoming a regular diner. I consider our diners really part of the family, because without them this doesn't work. I would say the culture here is really our secret sauce, because you can definitely teach skills and run a restaurant, but my heart is that they really heal from the inside out. When they leave here, they don't just have a skill, but they know that their life has great purpose and they can do great things.
Paolo, this spot has such a remarkable story, doesn't it?
Yes, Teresa Goins was a former LA corrections officer, wanting to help the community, wanting to help the youth that were at risk in San Francisco, and she opened up a restaurant. And the food is fabulous. It's a variety. It's like Cirque du Soleil. She has comfort food, Soul Food International there.
Did you find the experience incredible?
I was blown away. I mean, I've been dining in San Francisco for years and years and years, and I found the restaurant to be fantastic. I think it's very special what they've started, her vision to give at-risk kids a chance and to learn a trade. But what really makes this restaurant special is the food is great. And if you want comfort food, the real deal, with fantastic flavors served with passion and love, this is absolutely the go-to place in San Francisco. I hate to even say this on air because I'm not going to be able to get in now. But it is really a very, very special place. Let's talk about the ambiance. I mean, how many restaurants can pull off a 1940s kind of speakeasy vibe with the cool red, wallpaper and the beautiful and the entertainment going?
Kids singing.
I walked in and they were playing The Entertainer on the piano when I walked in. I was like, wow, okay, this is going to be interesting. And then the food delivers. Again, there's a lot of restaurants like this around the country that are kind of like social help in the community, but not a lot of them get the food right. And this restaurant delivers.
And let's talk about some of the dishes, because many of them are named after the employees, and so they bring their family recipes to the restaurant, and Chef Kevin works with them to create the final dish.
Who's Abu?
Yeah.
With that
Abu, that's right. Abu's peanut butter, right?
Peanut butter stew. Wow. I mean, I can still taste it on my palate. I mean, that is something that I'm going to kidnap Abu and have him cook every Sunday afternoon in my house, because that is...
Talk about hearty and rich, right?
Exactly.
Whoa.
And I had the shrimp and grits dish. They have a macaroni and cheese dish. This is absolutely amazing. I don't know how many cheeses they use, but you could definitely feel the layers of different flavors of cheese.
I love this place to the point where I've been back. I've gone a couple of times, and I've referred a couple of people. Oh, most definitely.
Did you have the peanut butter stew?
I did not have the peanut butter stew, but I did have the gumbo, which was awesome. Like you said, the food is to die for. I mean, it's really good. Seasoned great. We had the greens and we had the catfish.
And let's talk about the shrimp and grits. I mean, you went back 3 times.
My husband, he's from Alabama, so when he saw that, he was, whoa. And the funny thing is he had tried to make it like a weekend before that, and it was horrible. So Chef Kevin came out, and it was just as nice as he could be. And I said, can you give him some pointers? And he gave the recipe. He said, the funny thing is I don't do the cooking. It's all done by the kids. I mean, I just felt like I was at home.
Yeah, I had the same exact experience. The shrimp that I had they were very large, they were succulent, they were prepared perfectly, they were fresh. The grits, which I very seldom have, were absolutely fantastic with amazing consistency, cooked to perfection. I mean, the layers of flavors in the grits, that smoky infused flavor in the grits really set off the dish nice. It didn't overpower the shrimp. You could taste the seafood for what it was. Great, great dish.
Let's talk about the service, because they're also training.
Our server, we were his very first table. He had never served another.
Great.
He was and I couldn't tell. Couldn't tell. And when he told us that, then he said, you're actually my very first table. He was so professional, so friendly, and if he didn't know something, he said, I don't know. I'll be right back. Let me check for you. Yeah. And I was really touched there was a testimony, how the program really touched his life, and I was sitting with tears in my eyes.
All the diners into that story every night through the music and through getting up and talking and interviewing servers and people behind the line.
I absolutely loved it.
Dessert?
I didn't have. I was so I mean, the food was so good. I think I ordered a second set of the chicken drumettes, which I thought were just perfect. And because I saw a fried chicken going to another table,
yes,
I said,
exactly.
I may have only room for the drumettes. I can't go for the full order fried chicken. But send me the drumettes. And they were fantastic. And so if the drumettes are any indication what the fried chicken's like, it's absolutely a dish to have. They were just perfect.
And did anybody try the lavender cheesecake?
You've been waiting to get to this dessert. I'm telling
I wanted to say that one first.
I want the dessert first. Oh,
Yes.
please, I want the dessert first.
Yes.
Told me you had to wait.
There's fresh strawberries on it and with a balsamic sauce on it. Really delicious. It's done really well.
And I have to mention, they have a small wine list, but there are some absolute gems. You can have a fantastic white Burgundy for less than $70.
And they have a handcrafted, I think, non-alcoholic menu that we did a hand-squeezed lemonade, and I think there was a cranberry drink that night that they were doing as a special, and they have a sweet tea, which was delicious. So they're doing a lot of really wonderful things in that bar.
And it's an amazing, amazing story. Thank you for bringing it to our attention. And it's your
you.
restaurant, so wrap it up.
Old Skool Cafe, it's a great place that supports the community. Fantastic food, cooked to perfection, and a great atmosphere and entertainment, and you got to try the lavender cheesecake.
All right, and Scott?
Amazing soul food, cooked from the heart. I would absolutely recommend it. I'm going back next week.
Okay, and Roshan?
I'm joining him next week. I absolutely love it. I agree. It's the place to be. I wish they were open more, 7 days a week, 24 hours. It's a place to be. It's really a wonderful place.
All right, if you would like to try Old Skool Cafe, it's on Mendel Street, just off 3rd at Oakdale in San Francisco. The telephone number is 415-822-8531. It's open for dinner Thursday through Saturday. Reservations are recommended, and the average tab for dinner without drinks is around $30. I want to thank my great guests on this week's show, Scott Roderick, whose authentic Northern Italian dining location of Perbacco in San Francisco transports him and everyone else back to Milan. Roshan Brooks's hidden gem of Federico's Tapas and Wine Bar in Union City, where two brothers welcome you with a diverse and large menu and a hug. And finally, Paolo Salcido, whose Old Skool Cafe in San Francisco is a delicious testament to the community and the youth program it supports. Thank you all for being here. Thank you guys. We really want to hear your thoughts about today's show and your experiences at any of the restaurants we've been talking about. So go to our website at kqed.org/checkplease, where you'll find a lot more information and all the details on the restaurants featured. You can watch a segment or download a whole show. You can also read my notes on the wines we're drinking today. They're delicious. And don't forget, you can stay in touch with us via Facebook and Twitter. So join us next time when 3 new guests will recommend their favorite spots right here on Check Please Bay Area. I'm Leslie Sbrocco, and I'll see you then. Cheers, everyone, and cheers.
This show is available on demand and online. To watch an episode, find restaurant information, or to apply to be on the show, go to our website at kqed.org/checkplease. You'll also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Check Please Bay Area is made possible by the members of KQED and by IRG has thousands of natural stone surfaces, all in stock today. IRG, online at marblecompany.com. Bay Area Subaru dealers. Opportunities to test drive the 2014 Subaru XV Crosstrek Hybrid are available at local Subaru dealers. Subaru online at Subaru.com. Just 45 minutes from the Bay Bridge, Jameson Ranch Vineyards offers handcrafted wines, chef's food pairings, and weekly live music. JamesonRanch.com. Oakland International Airport, offering new flights to Europe, Hawaii, and all across the USA. Oakland International. Park close. Fly on time. With whole toasted sesame seeds, garlic, ginger, and other natural ingredients, soy vase sauces and marinades bring a taste of Asia to your favorite dishes. Support KQED's vehicle donation program and donate a car to help raise funds for quality public media. Powered by cars. A KQED television production.